Guys, so I just wanted to make a quick video going over the upcoming Dokkan Now. They actually just added this to the news about an hour ago at this point. I've been busy watching some shows, catching up on stuff, so I actually missed the initial announcement, but it's about an hour late, so it's not too late here. But there's a Dokkan Now, Volume 5, announced for the 18th of May, which is in about 4 days from now. I'm recording this at 5 a.m. Eastern Time on May 14th. So about 4 days from now, it's coming out this is 6 p.m. PST, which is going to be 9 p.m. Eastern that day. And here's the official notice in game from DBZ Space. So it's right here, same time, day of release. Typical Dokkan Now announcement. This is now the 5th one we've gotten on Global in terms of the numbered ones. So, I mean, that's pretty much all the information we got. I'm going to attempt to speculate on what we're going to be getting here. This is, a hype time for Global. We can actually go through the some of the LRs we've gotten in the past. So around this period of time. So obviously 2 years ago we got Tech Broly. He released on the 23rd of May 2019. Him being global first LR, right? JP didn't get him until about 2 months later. Again, the Dokkan Now is releasing 18th of May. And then we got this guy right here on the 23rd of May. And then LRUI Goku last year, of course, came out as a global first. JP got him less than a month after. So, it was a global first for about 3.5 weeks. 3.5 to 4 weeks. And then, so that was on the 22nd of May. So 23rd, 22nd, it's kind of being consistent with that time. I think, when is the 18th? The 18th is a Tuesday. I think there's a good chance that they release the Dokkan Now, and then the unit comes out literally the next day. We've seen that with a lot of these announcements. Because keep in mind, the Tech Broly and the UI Goku, these were not Dokkan Now units. These are units that were not announced on Dokkan Now. Broly, I believe, just dropped. They put the Twitter reveal out. Actually, did they? I think at that point in time they didn't even have a global Twitter account. I don't think they did. I think they literally just did a data download and he was there. But for UI Goku, they definitely did a Twitter reveal. I remember waiting up till like 6 in the morning or something for them to drop his details. And then they actually did a special trailer for him on their YouTube channel, like the Bandai Namco YouTube channel. So the fact that this is a Dokkan Now, it doesn't really mean that much. We've had Dokkan Nows where it's global first. We've had Dokkan Nows where it's same time, JP and global. I think for this specific release, there is a chance this is actually a global first and JP doesn't get it right now, but I think just based off of the fact that it's kind of a combined celebration, the whole GT hero thing / GT bosses theme is going on. We both got the Goku and Vegeta at the same time. We both got the Super Saiyan 4 EZAs at the same time. We're both getting Chain Battle at the same time. I would bet my money on this being a same time release for an LR. I don't think it's going to be an LR Dokkan Fest exclusive. It might be. That would be kind of cool, but I mean, just again, based off of the fact that we've gotten Broly and then Goku the past 2 years, which are both legendary summon units, and the fact that the reason why I have this pulled up is just to show that the banners here for Vegeta and Goku are ending on the 24th. I don't think they'd release the Dokkan Now on the 18th and then make us wait to the 24th to release the banners. If they actually did, and they released whatever's coming, they released their banner on the 24th, I could actually see this being a Dokkan Fest LR. Because, the banners go away for the Dokkan Fest, and that's pretty much all we have. So they wanted to release this and then wait 6 days, almost a week later, to drop everything, then I could see it being a Dokkan Fest LR. But I think right now the most likely scenario for the Dokkan Now here is going to be a legendary summon banner, so a gold coin / yellow coin banner. So I want to take a look at the GT bosses category, because what I believe is going to be dropping is some kind of GT boss, right? We got the double GT hero lead with the Goku and the Vegeta during the celebration, and then we got extra stuff to run on that team with the EZAs for the Super Saiyan 4s. Plus we got the banner units, the GT Gohan and Goten, plus the GT Goten and Trunks. And then we're getting EZA for B-Pan. There's a lot of stuff they're doing for GT heroes. But they also, in the same celebration, introduced the GT bosses category. So really, there's a need here, right? There's a need to actually buff this category because there's no real reason for this category to exist currently. The only lead that exists for this team is the LR Shadow Dragons, which is a JP only LR because it's Battlefield. Even on JP, you can only really get one copy, and they're only a 130% across the board leader for this team, so they're not exceptionally good as a leader. And on global, obviously, there's nothing. I mean, we take a look at the release date. It's only JP because it's a JP only unit. Global can't. Global. It's actually impossible for Global to run this team. So the fact that this category exists in the game, we can't run it on Global. JB can't even have a good time running this team. Tells me most likely that the unit that's coming out, for this Dokkan now is probably going to be a GT Heroes unit. So a GT Heroes unit, a GT Bosses unit. Sorry. And when you think about GT Bosses in GT, like there's three main villains, right? There's Sin/Omega Shenron, there's Baby Vegeta, and then there's Super 17. I think those are the three units we're looking at in terms of what we're most likely to get for this. And I have the three of the existing variants of those units up in separate windows here. So let's go through Super Baby 2 first. So LR Baby, I actually think this guy's pretty underrated still to this day. The link level update really helped him out. I mean, he has big bad bosses. He has like all these links that are just crazy good. Thirst for Conquest is really good. 50% attack and defense at level 10. A lot of these links got buffed in the link level update. Look at this, 3 key and 10% attack for HS. I mean, it's not a very common link, but once you get it active, it's really good. GT link is crazy good. So this guy's actually pretty underrated to this day. And I mean, just looking at what we have for in terms of Baby, we can go to the breakdown here of all the different named Baby units that we have. It's literally just him. I mean, this is all we have other than like the free-to-play Baby unit. There's no other Baby we have other than that. And then we have this Int Baby that awakens to the one that transforms into the Grade 8, the Int one. So there's a lot of room here for what they can do. One thing to note about Baby specifically is they have a chain battle upcoming for both Global and JP. I think it comes out on the 17th of May, so it's in about 3 days from now. There is a new Sprite that was data mined for the Baby that's going to release for chain battle. The Sprite, or people have seen the card art probably posted on Twitter. It's of the mature version of Baby. It's from after Baby possesses Vegeta and Goku beats Vegeta up, and then Baby leaves Vegeta's body. He appears as sort of like a more adult version of this form. So right here it says Baby Youth form. This is not the youth form Baby. We're talking about the adult version of this sort of same form. So he looks the same to this, except instead of looking like a child, he looks like an adult. There is a new Sprite in the game for that. Specifically for chain battle, but the last time we saw them do this was for the chain battle against the BoJack Movie Gohan. And so they released a Sprite for BoJack Movie Gohan, and what do you know, the next data download we had was LR Tech Gohan. So I think that's pretty telling in my opinion. It might not mean that Baby is going to be the LR, it could be the TUR, it could be the SSR. To me, it looks like TUR art for an LR. I should have had it pulled up here. I was dumb that I didn't have it ready, but you guys probably know what I'm talking about. It's pretty telling that that's at least going to be somewhat in relation to what we're about to get here. So if I had to bet on which unit of these, let's get rid of this. Which character of these three we're going to get an LR for, I would wager Baby. And that also makes sense just in the theme of what we're getting here for GT bosses, because I think if you actually go through these three characters, I think it's between Baby and Omega / Sin Shenron to be the who's the most iconic. I would actually, it's hard to say between Baby and Omega. I think I like Baby better as a villain from GT. Omega was cool, the concept was cool, but I just don't like the execution. Super 17 just kind of like whatever. But okay, so yeah, again, my number one pick for the LR we're gonna get is some kind of either transforming Baby, or maybe some exchange thing where it's like Baby enters a unit. It's kind of, I guess you can kind of picture it like the transforming STR Boo, where it's like depending on what conditions he fulfilled, he changes forms to one out of like 3 possible forms. That'd be cool. I don't know. We'll see. Super 17 is interesting. So obviously we have the EZA AGL1. By the way, this is really the only usable Super 17 we have in the game. Let's go to Super 17. Yeah, all the other ones are just like awakenings of free-to-play units. We have these two down here, and that's it. Like that, there's one usable Super 17 in this game, which is crazy after over 6 years of this game being out. The interesting thing to note about Super 17 is if you actually pull up the SSR version, notice how this guy doesn't have big bad bosses, and that's the one thing that I think they held back on when they initially created this unit, because of the fact that even before EZA, he still has 40% damage reduction, which was quite good back when he came out. Like, this guy was not bad at all when he came out. He was pretty decent. So I think their decision to hold back on big bad bosses was because maybe they felt it would be too good along with this. But nowadays, like, they would just slap it on him. And you can take a look at the SSRs. It's very easy to tell that they held back because the SSR versions of this guy have big bad bosses. And you can actually take a look at his links. Like, his links are quite good. Fierce Battle, GT, big bad bosses, Nightmare, Fear and Faith. Like, Fuse Fighter can even be decent. I mean, not on his teams, but you know, these 4 links plus Fear and Faith, like, that's a really solid 5-link package that he has. So if they went ahead and did a Super 17 for like a legendary summon, he would actually be quite good. I feel like his link set is already there. The groundwork is there to make him a decent unit. And then we have obviously Sin Shenron / Omega Shenron. People have been talking about this for a long time. I personally, the reason why I think we're due for a baby over a new Omega / Sin Shenron is because of the fact that I think they're setting up something for GT. They don't really throw a lot of GT celebrations at us, and when they do, they're packed with content because they never really touch on this series, right? They never really touch on GT that often. That's why whenever we have the GT themed anniversary, so 2-year and 4-year, they're always so good because there's a lot of content they can dive into that they've never touched on before. So I think what they're trying to do here, I believe the upcoming worldwide download celebration, which last year again is, well, every year at this point, is the end of August / early September, which we will inevitably have this year as well. I think what they're setting up for that is GT themed. And if they're going to be doing a major celebration for GT again, the one area where they really haven't touched on since, what was it, like the 100 million downloads? No, it wasn't 100. I think it was 150. 150 million download celebration, I believe is what it was, when we got Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta Tech and the this guy right here, this physical Omega Shenron. This got released August 3rd, 2017, so it's been almost 4 years since we got a new Omega Shenron. So I think, you know, at this point, if they're going to harp on the end of the Shadow Dragon saga / you know, the end of GT overall, and they want to go out with, like, you know, Omega Shenron, they could do Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, they could do Universal Spirit Bomb Goku, they could do a 100-year time skip Goku or something like that. Maybe they dive into Hero's Legacy or whatever they want to do, but I feel like that is primed to be its own celebration as, like, worldwide or even anniversary. I don't think that's anniversary worthy, honestly, in my opinion. I think that's more so worldwide download celebration. That's what I'm thinking. So I mean, Omega Shenron himself as a unit, though, obviously his link set's pretty damn good. Fierce Battle, Fear and Faith, GT, Shocking Speed, Big Bad Bosses. Even Shadow Dragons can be really good. There's a lot of Shadow Dragons in the game that exist now. Well, not a lot, but you have new additions like this Physical Nova is pretty good. You have this Awakening of Oceanus. This guy, Easy 8, is pretty decent. You have this new one who's crazy good. And eventually this Sin Shenron's going to get an Easy 8 as well. You could even talk about the fact that we could get a transforming Sin Shenron over just another Omega, which means that once this guy eventually gets an Easy 8, because he will, you'll be able to run those guys both together. You know, this STR Omega Shenron is still a crazy good unit for SBR. So Shadow Dragon as a link on the GT bosses team was actually going to be really good. I feel like you're going to be able to activate that fairly often, especially if you're floating this guy around. But with that said, again, I think my choices are in terms of what I think is most likely to least likely. I think Baby is by far the most likely. I think Super 17 is second most likely, just because of the fact that I think they're saving Omega / Sin Shenron for a bigger celebration. So he'd be my third choice. And then I guess quickly just to go over what I want to see out of a GT bosses lead. I'll pull up the team one more time. This team is not very big, right? I mean, it's very small. They gave GT heroes a key +3, 170 across the board leader skill. So at the very least, I would expect to see the same for GT bosses, if not key +4, which would be crazy if they did that, because the team doesn't honestly need that. But I mean, there's going to be a lot of LRs on here, right? This guy, plus whatever the new LR we're about to get. So that's 3. If 4 if you're including the friend leader. So I would like to see key +3, 170 across the board. You know, they're probably going to end up making him some kind of dual lead. Well, now that I think about it, if they're going to make this guy specifically to be a GT boss's leader, he could technically be a Dokkan Fest LR if that's the case, because Dokkan Fest units are generally the ones that have the better leader skills. But I mean, you could say the same thing about like LR Jiren. LR Jiren is a legendary summon unit and he had a really good leader skill. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see. But I think if they structure this leader, let's just assume it's like some kind of baby unit. Let's just assume that. Let's say baby comes out, he's a GT boss's leader. The way I want him to be set up is I want him to be very similar to how they set up Cooler. I want him to be similar to how they set up Bojack. That's the kind of unit I think this category can really benefit from because of the flexibility. The roster is not huge. We are like look, this is the entire roster. Like everything. This is the whole roster. This is all you're going to be using on this team pretty much. So if they're not going to be releasing that many units for this team, they need to embellish the quality of what units we're getting and are actually runnable for this team. And the flexibility that comes with a unit that's designed much like Cooler and Bojack means that you can run him in multiple roles depending on what situation you find yourself in. So I think a unit that can perform multiple roles well, or fulfill multiple roles well, is what this team needs. So maybe they can be a support, then you can activate their active skill, they turn into some kind of super powerful damage dealing unit. Maybe you can run one on rotation, one off rotation. I mean, something like that would be really, really ideal for this team. But regardless, we have, again, Dokkan now coming in 4 days. Let me know down below what you guys think is coming, and I'm excited to see what's happening here. I'll be ready, got my stones ready. But hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.